Right, it's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning on the 16th of October. My sleep is obviously all over the place. I'm all over the place. Just trying to present myself. Yeah, I've just I had an unknown number ring me. I wonder who that could be. But I've literally just updated this lovely call handler who's foreign, unlike our horrible, obnoxious English call handlers, Helen James, calling me racist. A nice lady. I've never known any 101 call handler to be so nice. I'm so used to having a psychological but you know, you obviously want a criminal prosecution, Helen, if you're watching. Yeah, so if you don't want your number and your name exposed, then why the hell you're crazy, you're demented. So, you know, trying to frighten me. I've kept that recording of that voice message. If your life is in danger and you don't want your partner doing something like all those horrendous things you're telling me, and I won't repeat them because they're very frightening. So why are you harassing me? I'll tell you what, though, interestingly, you mentioned Andy Devine is a horrible man. Yeah, you said the same about Tina Chave, and you were going to have a go at Tina Chave for me, another fraud scammer from the Independent Advice Network. So why are you... it's not even worth asking these questions. It's not even worth asking because... But interestingly, because he was one of the 5 people who had my mobile number. And Andy Devine, for anyone watching this, in case, you know, this is my own personal documentation, but whatever. Andy Crown Devine, was the ex-power of attorney. He stepped down as John Alexander Patterson's power of attorney. John Alexander Patterson is the brave whistleblower I met in Eastbourne Psychiatric Unit. All these people exposing corruption. There's vulnerable, suicidal me. Yeah, so you get the picture. Then you got Dan from Police Abusing Powers and Tina Chave and all that malarkey and falsely offering me help and then threatening me. Then you got the moderator, Ian Broadhurst, that Dan from Police Abusing Powers got me, another one who turned funny. The other moderator is part of a group that, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like they're attacking a group that attacks Brian Harvey from the pop group E17 and Angela Power Disney, who is friends with Andy Devine and all those people, because they're all connected up. She had a to-do with Brian Harvey. So all these people are connected up on the YouTube internet. So, and I've noticed, I've had a notification to say that Angela Power Disney has just subscribed, because I've blocked her before because she turned funny. Andy Devine was meant to help me at a most frightening time of my corruption. So if Helen James thinks that Andy Devine is so bad, this crazy woman that I don't know that's contacted me out of the blue, then why is she then sending me hundreds and hundreds of text messages attacking me like all these other trolls? My last live stream, she sent me a link which has had one of my live streams that's had the most views ever. Was it 165 views? And the live stream where I'm calling out Andy Devine as being a fake and cult, 722 views. Little me. Yeah, little me who's a technophobe. So I've been targeted as a vulnerable, homeless, suicidal woman. And you know what? Whether that Jeanette Archer is genuine or not, the fact that you are contacting me to attack me as a vulnerable suicidal woman who's been the victim of the police and been attacked, and to the point where I thought I'd be killed, you're attacking me for saying something positive about a survivor of satanic ritual abuse. You're just giving Jeanette more credibility. This is what I don't understand. You're all completely and utterly cuckoo. And this is why I've been laughing, and I've never felt so good in my life, because I realised, hang on a minute, it's not you. There's, on Facebook, there's a woman called Susie. I don't know. I shouldn't really say her name. I won't say her name, but she's part of the Exposures Truthers community on Facebook. She knows a lot about a lot. And my mother lived in New York in the 50s and 60s. She lived in New York when she could see through a lot of bullshit. And that includes the whole, what would you call it? The AIDS thing. And she saw that there were things going on that she saw. I can't even repeat it because it was just, my head is going to go to mush. But basically, the AIDS sort of, there are lies around that. But there was a community in parts of New York that were known as the gay areas, and my mother might have been a victim of that because she didn't realise that she'd been with a man who was selling his body to men in New York. That's why she had an illegal abortion back in 1958. And it was a cop that helped her. So she told me that right at the end of her life. And may she forgive me for saying this. It's not her fault. She was so young. She was half my age. And she cried to me in tears about this. And it just goes to show you that that's probably why my mother was so amazing and sensible and seemed like someone. All of us have had things happen to us that shouldn't happen to us, even if it happens to the good and decent people. She went to a priest to absolve, I think it might have been a Catholic, to absolve her of her sins. But it just, this is what happens. But this woman on Facebook, who's a New Yorker, and she's a typical New Yorker, you can hear it. And she's living in Texas. And I've forgotten what I was going to say. But basically, I forgot what I was going to say. There was something I like. I really like this woman, though. I can really relate to a lot of what she says. That she's learnt that she's got to be careful. Oh, I know what I was going to say. She put this thing up, a screen test. And it says pick a colour, pick 2 colours. She did the test and it says she's a super empath. I did it. And I too am a super empath. So there you go. The computer does not lie. I've all the times I looked in the mirror and I said, is it me? All that gaslighting. Am I a narcissist? No, because I'm extremely conscientious. So yeah, but I like this lady. I've been swearing so much recently. But then when I hear someone like her, I can hear the trauma. She's had problems with landlords and courts and police. And she's getting clued up on the common law. But yeah, I've gone off on a couple of tangents here. But Helen James, really, she's just keeps sending me text messages and a voice message. So that I've reported that. And because it all started with this Helen James Jeanette Archer. I made a live stream where I said I thought that Jeanette Archer was a brave woman. But by the sounds of her voice message, Andy Devine has got some, quite possibly, and I'll tell you why, because when she said to me, she first contacted me was when I made that live stream about Jeanette Archer, saying I think she's brave and all of that. And it was back in the summer, July, I think it was. And I just suddenly got these text messages where she was so concerned for me. She's a dangerous woman, Bryony. I said, excuse me. I thought I didn't want to be rude, but I said, how did you get my number? And she, interestingly, she said she got it from the live stream where I made a live stream about the Eastbourne Food Bank. Well, it wasn't about the food bank. I phoned the food bank. I spoke to my partner's friend who maybe without realizing it, actually exposed someone else for being untrustworthy. Because whilst his friend left me in tears, was horrible to me, his friend is friends with Darren, my partner or ex-partner, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. And he is friends with Darren's parents. So he started sounding like one of these police call handler operatives, though. He sounded like a demonic Freemason rather than my partner's friend, Steve Churchill. No, he started to sound like, because he was using the same MK Ultra operative programming. And it's rife in Eastbourne. There is a stronghold for Freemasonry and agents of the darkness, well, particularly in the southeast of England, and particularly in this little seaside nutty town. And I seem to be getting them wherever I go because I attract them like flies to a cow's arse. So basically, in that live stream that Helen James claims I put my mobile number out there, and I didn't. I haven't once said my mobile number, and it's nowhere in the live chat. So who is this Helen James? This crazy woman even texts me out of all the hundreds of text messages, you know who I am. This is how crazy this person is. So whatever. But in that live stream phone call to the food bank where Steve has left me in tears, he said he's praying for me. I played him a recording of a licensee threatening to beat me up. So he's just prayed for me. I play him a recording of a licensee threatening to beat me up. And then he said, no, your life is not in danger. What the fuck? See, this is why I'm swearing. I am so disgusted. You're doing the devil's work. And then he said, we're going round in circles, and he hung up on me. He did that MK Ultra TAVISTOCK programming that all these others are doing. Straight from GCHQ, straight from the pit of fire, this is. So, and I was crying my eyes out. It's in that live stream that Helen James claims she got my mobile number from. But interestingly, in that live stream, in that phone call, Steve said a woman, that woman from Wiltshire rang us, as if he knew that people had been ringing the food bank on my behalf. I said, what? Sorry, what woman from Wiltshire? I said, are you talking about Caroline Stevens? Caroline Stevens, who did the same kind of thing as Steve, saying she would pray for me, talk to me out of suicide, then threatened me because I left my live stream running, and she warned me against Andy Devine. And Andy Devine is connected to Helen James because I have just recorded her. I have recorded her horrible, slightly scary voice message where she's mentioned Andy Devine as being a nasty piece of work. So we're all as bad as each other, but I find that very interesting. This is what I mean. And I also find it interesting that earlier today, Angela Power Disney is a new subscriber on my channel again. So I will put that information in the description. This is why I disable comments and live chat. So there we are. So I should be expecting to hear back from Sussex Police. So it's quite ironic, Helen James, that you're even trying to torment me by saying the call handler from Sussex Police was laughing as soon as I said your name. Do you know who you're like? You're like, I said that I wouldn't be responding to troll comments anymore, but I did get one notice. So you're a little bit, you're the only person who is going crazy and attacking me, Helen James, whoever you are. From Surrey, is it? Surrey Police. One troll comment, and I'll say who it's from. It's from I'm not going to read it, but I did just see the first few words in the notification. Princess Angela. Princess Angela was named as one of Dan's big police abusing powers supporters. A low IQ, vile, silly little girl who is not learning her lessons. And yeah, she was in the live chat. Was it me that she was referring to as a bitch, as a bitch? Might as well just say it. When I, as part of my evidence, when Tina Chave was in the live chat, when I was getting verbal abuse, I was getting abuse. My partner was getting abuse, the word cunt and all this sort of thing. You know what? You're just, yeah, I'm learning. Like Jeanette Archer, I've it's one hell of a lesson. You learn through, I've been so naive. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I just play on my own naivety. I know that this is what it's like. But when you're in the thick of it, you just can't believe that people can behave, and when you're the one that's supposed to have the mental health issues and be vulnerable and asking for help, and yet you're going to demented people all the time. So, but yes, I did say, didn't I? The thing is, these people don't listen to my live streams. They don't actually listen to what I'm saying. They don't listen. They just repeat whatever, they hear whatever they want to hear, and they make out they're listening, but their brain just switches off. I'll take some of that, and then I'm not going to listen properly. If you don't listen properly to what someone's saying, because I saw in the comment section one time she said, oh, something about, Dan and Tina, she's calling you she's referring to you as a what was the word? Tyrant. Yeah. And I thought, what? But it's because I'd said earlier on in my live stream that someone had described my eldest sister as a tyrant. which she is. So then she decides to, because what they do is they've got low IQs, these trolls. They take what they want, and then they repeat in their own words complete lies without realizing it, because they're not listening, they're not concentrating, because they've got their iPhones. I don't have what do you call it, smartphone, iPhone. Did you know that smartphones have been proven to lower your IQ? Gosh, if that can happen to the parents, make the parents demented, think of what it's doing to their children. Do you know what I mean? So, but anyway, I said I wouldn't respond to comments, or any comments, but I did just read the first few words. Oh, how can you tell us we're going to hell? You have no right to tell us that we're going to hell. I haven't told anyone that anyone's going to hell. I'm saying that it's a fact. We are all going to hell. You've got to understand the Hebrew language. I haven't even picked up the Bible to read it. But for anyone who doesn't know, and I can safely say that there are people who do not know, your dead loved ones are not looking down on you, okay? Ghosts do not exist. They are apparitions, entities from the dark spirit realm who take on the appearance of your loved ones. I expect I've got another text message from Helen James, and that will be going straight to the police. I might have to ring them up after this live stream. So just to clarify, because as Darren said to me, there are, even in the and don't pray to angels, okay? You must not pray to, they are not for praying to. You pray to Yahweh your Elohim and the Son, Yahushua. There are different levels of angel. It's like the Nephilim, it ends in Elim. It often ends in Elim, but I don't know, because I haven't read up. I don't know, because I haven't actually read the Bible. I know bits and pieces. I know this and that. I haven't got bogged down and read it. But there are different, there's a ranking. It's like military. There's a ranking with the angels. And they're all going to be there. If you don't get saved, you will, if you're not saved, you will stand at the great white throne of judgment. And they'll all be there. It'll be like a massive major courtroom in the court of the Shalmayim, which is Hebrew for heaven. And Sheol is the Hebrew word for hell, okay? And I got that from Darren, because hell is not what all the frauds, the Catholic Church that I used to be in, that's not what it is. It's comes from something to do with a place somewhere in Israel where they burn bodies. And you will stand at the great white throne of judgment, and if you're not saved, okay, this is what makes me laugh. This is why I can't be bothered with troll comments. I find it amusing, because these people are obsessed with me, and they're obviously very angry and upset, and they've got their issues. You got to do the research for yourself. You've already caused me a lot of trouble, because that's really all you do, because you've got nothing else going on in your life. So I can't have an intelligent conversation with someone who can't. Well, you're just, anyway. You're not even worth it. I'm not even going to go there. You know, when it's bad enough when I've gone to caregiver from Alan Horvath's channel, and Alan Horvath sadly died, and she was acting like one of these typical Christian elders. Oh my gosh, I remember it when I was younger. when I was a child, I had this. And I was in tears because I was in distress about my partner's abuse, and he's the one who brought me to Yahweh. And ironically, she did what my partner did. She put me in a state to go and to cry. I hadn't cried like that for a long time. And I ran onto the beach, went to go and buy alcohol so that I would drink it and go and jump off Beachy Head. And that's cult behaviour, you see. So I'm not interested in religion. I'm not interested in the words of man. There's so many rabbit holes, as Alan Horvath himself said. Rabbit holes, darkness. Loads of them, a whole warren full of them. And I'm not interested in the world. You know, I've come out of the world. Not that I was never in it, but I am in the world, but I'm not of the world, if you know what I mean. You're in the world, but you can be of worldly things, and you'll just destroy yourself. Because there are going to be a lot of famous people, politicians, higher ups, you name it, and they will stand at the great white throne of judgment, all those who sold their souls, and they will be naked. It's really something you don't want to be doing. You want to get saved, because everyone is going to know every dark little deed that you've done. So don't attack me. Don't attack the messenger, because all you're doing is you're showing me your dirty darkness of the heart, which we already know about. That's what I mean. You don't have to do much to expose yourself. And that's something that you need to take responsibility for yourself. These are just my kind words to you. Obviously, there's nothing that I can do. You have to do it for yourself. You have to go to the Father, okay? You have to go to the Father. I'm not part of any religion. I'm not part of anything. The word, don't even like to use the word Bible or church. The word, and this is why I've always had this respect for Darren, because my partner brought me to the real crux of it. The word from Yahweh, not from any man, not from any preacher or church, or because there are a lot of deceptions out there, and that's something that scripture warns us about. The book of life. If you want your name in the book of life, give yourself to Yahushua HaMashiach. Repent of your sins and do it from the heart. That's what the Day of Atonement was all about. You need to do it from the heart, and he will know. He will know. He knows every dirty, filthy, nasty, evil thing in here and here. Every tiny, minute little detail about your sins. Do you want everyone to know that about you? Stripped naked in front of a court. And then they'll decide whether you'll go straight into the lake of fire. I'm just saying. I believe it. And I've never, but you know what? I'm not afraid to die. It's like, I'm afraid of, we're all, as human beings, we're afraid of the unknown, but I've got it right with the Father, and I've had to go through all this suffering. So that's why I say, bring it on. I haven't had trolls. I've disabled for the past few months, I've disabled my live chat and my comments for these obvious reasons. But it was only just since I've exposed Tina Chave's threatening. I did a live stream where I said, beware of Tina Chave from the Independent Advice Network, because this is a dangerous, very dangerous people, because they are me being one of them, just targeting vulnerable people and then threatening them. And it's no good saying, well, that's the world we live in. Dear God, I wish I could just go back to being a child again. I want to go, there's nothing I want more to go back to the 80s and 90s. I wanted to go back to the 80s. Oh, my battery's about to run out.